morning, everyone. We'll go ahead and get started. My name's Marsha Hampton. I am the Assistant City Manager with the City of Douglasville, and I would like to welcome you this morning to our monthly faith-based meeting that we host with the City of Douglasville. And for many of you who are wondering why we're here, we typically allow the members of the faith-based committee, those folks that come to the meeting, choose the topics. And one of the things that was highly requested on our list was, what do we do for our seniors in the community? What's happening with our seniors? And senior services are just not one of the things that we at the City of Douglasville provide, but our county government does a great job with that. So we thought, what a good idea of bringing in you folks to see what it is that the county does at this facility. They've been able to do some renovations, and you can take this back to your congregations and the members of your churches to let them know what good things we're doing for our seniors in our community. The other reason that we're here is because this week we're celebrating Georgia Cities Week. And for those of you who don't know what that is, annually we partner with the Georgia Municipal Association to inform those folks in our community about what benefits and what great services the city provide, and getting some information to you about what city government is all about. Typically we give that information to our younger citizens. Each year during this week we host a group of second graders. Tomorrow we will be visiting with about 600 second graders out in our county, so they'll come and bless us with their presence. So we're happy to have them, but we're happy to be with our older citizens of the community today, just as important, and being able to provide this information to you. So as we learn today, we're hoping to give you a great deal of information about what it is that we have to offer. So our first speaker today is going to be our Commission Chairman, Tom Wortham. So.
Good morning. On behalf of the Douglas County Parks and Recreation and Douglas County government, we welcome you to the Woodie Fite Senior Center, which we are very proud of here in Douglas County. You know, this center was built with SPLOST dollars a few years back. And most recently, though, we added additional 5,000 square feet for our seniors. Please take a look at it before you leave here this morning. It's much needed. You know, I know the city's been talking in different meetings with the faith-based community regarding homelessness, youth, and housing. But the reason senior services is most important is that it's probably the fastest growing part of our population here in Douglas County. I'm proud to say that Douglas County takes care of its seniors. Senior Services has been in operation in Douglas County since 1974 and is the provider of the Older Americans Act funded services within our county. We've been doing this since 1979. In 2009, we lost almost $500,000 in funding for our seniors due to cuts in state funding for our senior services, including the Meals on Wheels program, which is very important to our seniors. The county assumed that responsibility for almost all of this amount, and services were continued without any delays or any reductions. I'll have to thank Richard Hagan, our Senior Services Director, who I had to bring, after the state cut out all these positions, these state employees left Douglas County, and I'm thinking, well, what in the world do we do now? But Richard Hagan, who is very experienced in senior services, had just retired. I don't think it had been even a month when I talked him into coming out of retirement and heading up our senior services. So Richard Hagan, I think Richard's going to speak to you later on this morning, has been a very important part of the services that we provide. But it was important to us that our seniors continue to receive the life-sustaining food and other services that they need. And I don't like to talk numbers when I speak, but I think it's important this morning that we do talk a little bit about some numbers. Last year, here in Douglas County and the city of Douglasville, Meals on Wheels delivered almost 36,000 meals to our homebound seniors. We served over 16,000 meals at our Fairburn Road Center, which is the old Douglas General Hospital. And we provided over 24,000 passengers trips. And I want to let you know that we're in the process now working through our DOT to start a regular routine of busing or vanning, or whatever you want to call it, getting our seniors to the places they need to go. That's in the process now. We're working toward getting some federal money to provide what I could say a more stable opportunity of our seniors knowing when and where these routes will be. So we'll keep you up to date on how that's going, but that's what we're working on right now. While we do it at a limited basis today, we want to increase those routes. We provide over 1,600 hours of respite care and almost 2,500 hours of support, home support for our seniors. And the Woodie Fite Senior Center registered almost 32,000 visits last year. The Fairburn Road and the Woodie Fite Center are the only senior centers in Douglas County and are a part of the Senior Services Department. I'm proud of the staff that we have at both of our centers and for the love and care that they give to our seniors. Norman Vincent Peale said to live your life and forget your age. I did that a long time ago. We're hoping and praying that our seniors do that very thing. So again, welcome to the Woodie Fite Center. Thank the city for inviting me to speak this morning, and take a tour of this facility before you leave. It's a wonderful facility. We have wonderful leadership, and our leader's going to talk before this program is over, but I have to thank her for putting her on the spot when she was ready to retire. I talked her out of retiring as well and taking over the leadership of this center. So she'll have an opportunity to talk about that later on. But again, thank you for being here this morning, and we appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Richard's not with us, Sharon has mentioned to me, because he's at a grants workshop, so getting some money. So that's trying to get some more money. But we do have Kim Charette, who's going to be speaking on his behalf to tell us a little bit more about senior services, and that's what we're here to understand. And as I said, making certain that you guys take good notes to take this back to your congregation so we can make certain to spread the word in our community about what great services the county does provide.
Good morning. My name is Kim Garrett, and I am the Information and Assistance Specialist at Douglas Senior Services. If you would like to follow along, there is a PowerPoint slide with Douglas Senior Services on the front. And I'd just like to tell you that the biggest part of my job are resources for the community. I utilize an ESP database, which stands for Enhanced Services Program, and it's a large database that is maintained by the Atlanta Regional Commission. It's updated, kept current, and basically my position is the entry point for services and resources for the community. So you would start with me if you were seeking services for your family members. We also accept walk-in appointments. If people want to come in and they actually want to do a face-to-face and they want to see what type of services that we offer, we see quite a bit of walk-ins. And also, a telephone screening is done over the phone by me for services that we do offer. We have case managers staffed at our office that provide case management for our home-delivered meal clients, homemaker services clients, and respite care service clients. Home-delivered meals program, basically a volunteer delivers meals to our homebound 5 days per week. Our homemaker services program consists of approximately 2 hours a month of homemaker services where someone would go in and provide light housekeeping services. And our respite care services consist of 3 hours a week of in-home respite services. We also have a senior center attached to our building that provides congregate meals for our seniors that would like to come into the center and socialize. There's transportation is also provided for them to and from the center, and there are plenty of leisure activities that they can take part of there. Our biggest focus and need are volunteers. On your tables are volunteer applications that you can take with you. We need volunteers mostly for our Meals on Wheels program. It's a vital program for our seniors that are homebound. Along with volunteering, you can also do friendly visiting, telephone reassurance, and any other talents or hobbies that you think the seniors might benefit from. You know, we would definitely welcome that, and so would our seniors. And also, there's another packet on your table that you can also take with you that tells you a little bit more about each program and contact information. I also placed business cards on your table. If you have any questions and you'd like to contact me, my card is on the table. And like I said, volunteering is really something that we're really focused on, and hoping that, you know, you would take those applications back with you and share those with your organizations that you're affiliated with. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Garrett. And before we move on to the second half of our program, does anyone have any questions about senior services? We will be able to tour the facility after we do a presentation for the celebration of Georgia Cities Week, but I do encourage you to ask questions. Any questions, anything? Yes, sir.
Is there a eligibility criteria in this process, or just, you know, if you want services, you can receive them? Is there something assessment?
Yes. The telephone screening would be conducted by myself, and the person must be at least 60 years of age or older.
Any other questions anyone else has? Everybody's so quiet. A lot of information, too much to take in? Okay. At that point, well, these folks will be around, and as I said, we will come back in and do a tour of the facility. So if you do have some questions, there's a lot of information on the table. I encourage you to ask those questions. Now I'll turn program over to our city manager, Bill Osborne.
Thank you, Ms. Hampton, and certainly we appreciate Douglas County Senior Services hosting our meeting this morning. Many years ago, I had my first real insight into some of the issues and problems that seniors face. My wife was the director of senior services planning for Northeast Georgia in the Regional Development Center in Athens, and so I got well acquainted with that. But you know, one of the things that when you're young, I see different ages out here. Some of you, like me, qualified to be senior citizens some time ago. But all of us is, I used to teach a senior class in the church, and I told them, I said, just look around at everybody else in the church. They just hope they live as long as you already have. And the bottom line is that we do need to be sure that our churches, our faith-based community, and all of us are very mindful of our seniors, because it's so easy for that age group, as they get older, become less involved, and you do need certainly a good outreach, and the facility here and their programs certainly is one valuable way in our community that we're doing this. If you look on the program, it says I'm making other comments, and I asked Marcia, I said, does that mean I'm supposed to get up and say I'm old too? And I do want all of you to put one thing at rest. Some of you may have seen around in the community for a number of months, there was a billboard over on Strickland Street. It says, City Manager Bill Osborne, unfair to seniors. Now, I don't know how many of you have seen that, and we're trying to help that lady with some issues she's had, but I must testify this morning that I'm 7 years older than she is. But so I try not to be unfair to seniors or anybody else. One group that we certainly have been interested in with the faith-based initiative from the beginning, have those members of our community who find themselves homeless. I'm going to ask Charles Branson to come up and give you just a very brief report on this. This was our initial focus. We try to keep you informed of things that are continuing to happen. So Charles, come on up and chat with us very briefly.
What's interesting, the same thing happened to me when I came in. The man said, first door on the right. And I said, why don't you think I'm a new senior person coming in to do this? He said, we don't wear ties. Is there a member of the United Way Path team here? If you are, I don't recognize you. I was hoping to have a United Way person here to give us a statistical update on what we've done with homelessness, but I'm just going to have to wing it with what I know. First, the coalition that we've been working with has done miraculous things. It's way beyond my expectation how many people have gone from sleeping in the woods to well on the path to self-sufficiency. I understand we've had at least 25 people we've directly housed and a huge change in the homeless population in Douglas County. One word for the United Way, the local United Way Advisory Board. I was asked to share with you that Max Keeler used to be on the advisory board, and he was a very important member of the advisory board. He made incredible contributions to the city and county, we all know, but he really made incredible contributions to our group. We'd like to have another member of the clergy join our local United Way Advisory Board. We just meet once every other month, and what United Way does is absolutely incredible. So contact me if you're interested. We'd like to get somebody on board with us. One other thing about homelessness in Douglas County, an update, is in Gwinnett last year, there was contribution from the Gwinnett, helped by the Gwinnett Sheriff to start GRIP, G-R-I-P, which is the Gwinnett Reentry Program. And the idea is to flag inmates of the Gwinnett County Jail who are going to be released within 120 days, who are severely mentally disabled. They call them in a lot of the jails frequent flyers. They can't adjust to life outside the jail. The jail environment is very controlled. They get medication and so forth. Once they're released, they can't get a job. They don't have a place to live. They get off their medication and they spiral down very quickly. Also, there are a lot of people with very severe physical problems in jail, some with terminal illnesses and so forth. And the idea was to try to transition these folks from jail to a movement towards self-sufficiency. And we're starting a program with them. I'm also with a firm called First Step, which gets benefits for disabled homeless people that can't work. And we're working with Gwinnett to do pre-release in trying to qualify individuals for Social Security disability before they get out of jail. And I've also worked with Stan Copeland and Captain Hensley, and we're going to do that in the Douglas County Jail as well. So, you know, helping homelessness is an organic thing. You can't work on it for 6 months and walk away. And we're going to have people getting out of jail and going out in the woods. So if we can transition them from jail to temporary housing, if we can get them benefits, they also get Medicaid, so they can continue their medication and have regular psychiatric or medical care and so forth. I know Commissioner Guider, you're going to be working with a group, and we'd love to coordinate that with your group, and I think that's a huge opportunity. One other note, we had our Community Character Coalition breakfast this morning, and when you're feeding 250 people, you have a lot of food left, and I took it all over to Sun Western over on Early Lee, where there are a lot of people that are right on the brink of homelessness, and they were overjoyed to get the grits and the bacon and scrambled eggs and all that type of thing. So if you're with a group and you have a situation like that, don't hesitate to run over there. There's some people that can use it. One final note, there's a flyer on your table about the Lifeline Project. I was contacted by Yvonne DePina with the Cobb Douglas Community Services Board, and They've got a grant to try to do some education about HIV, and they want to work with church organizations and do 30-minute to 1 hour training and so forth. So be sure to contact them if you're interested. Any questions about the efforts for homelessness? Okay. Thank you for all the support.
Thank you, Charles, and for continuing efforts that you are leading in this community. And we will continue to keep you informed of what's going on with the homeless situation, and appreciate not only your support, but also your continuing interest in that. This time it's my pleasure to introduce a young woman who started working with the city of Douglasville on a contract earlier in the year, and I guess you're now a regular employee, Patrice Williams, who has worked in community development, both with Georgia Municipal Association and the State Department of Community Affairs, and she's joined us. In fact, Marcia's handing off things to Patrice to pick up on a lot of Marcia's responsibilities, even as I'm handing off things to Marcia as part of our growth and development and transition and everything in city government. So Patrice, if you will come up and you'll tell us whatever you're going to tell us and have us do whatever you want us to do.
Good morning. I'm Patrice Williams. As Bill said, I'm with the city. I'm excited about being here this morning. We are celebrating Georgia Cities Week. As Marcia said earlier, the Georgia Municipal Association, they sponsor that activity, and cities throughout Georgia are taking part by having different activities. And so we, in showcasing what the city does for its residents, we also wanted to highlight what the county does as well through the Woodie Fite Center. And so we've been talking to Miss Sharon back there for a couple of months now. We've been working on this for a while. And we wanted to provide just a token of our appreciation for everything that she does, not only for county residents, but for city residents as well. And so we were able to get Alternative Environment to participate in on this. They've donated 3 beautiful cherry trees. Matt, you want to come up here and quickly say a couple of things, keep it brief, on just some information on these lovely trees. When I asked, when we were talking about the trees, I expected, when I drove up yesterday to make sure the trees are here, I was expecting something like this. And so I was like, oh my God, the trees aren't here. And so Ms. Sharon was like, oh no, they're here. And so if you can see out the window, we'll see in a few minutes, these trees are huge. So we are really grateful for this awesome donation.
Thank you. My name's Matt Ducharme, as Patrice already said. I'm one of the owners of Alternative Environments, and we've had the opportunity to take care of the grounds here for several years and to help with the new addition on some of the landscaping out there. And we're real proud of this project. And with Earth Week and Georgia Cities Days, we were looking for an opportunity to give a little bit back to the community. And we put these autumnalis cherries, which will flower in the fall and reflower in the springtime and stratify the bloom season a little bit and add a little joy to the grounds out here.
So at this time, we're going to head outside, if you don't mind.
Get a photograph.
Just a photograph, and we got 3 shovels, so we want the city and the county to participate, and just throwing a little dirt on the tree.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Chairman, Ms. Sharon.
First of all, I'd like to thank everybody for coming this morning. I know you all have very busy schedules, a lot of other things you need to be doing, but I appreciate you taking your time to come to the faith-based meeting and help us celebrate Georgia Cities Week, as well as to be able to see the Senior Citizen Center and all the many things that it offers. I'd like to thank Sharon Johnson, her staff, for all that they've done to host this event. And certainly thank you for the refreshments and getting everything set up and coordinating. And thank city staff for all that they've done. What makes a community great? You know, we all go to a lot of the different meetings and events and things that we all go to, but what really makes a community great? What makes a community great is some of the things that you've seen here this morning and the people that are participating. You see a lot of people working together, giving of themselves, reaching out to help a lot of different people. That's what makes a community great. As Charles said earlier, many of us went to the Character Coalition breakfast earlier, heard some really great comments, heard a lot of great things about people and things that are going on in our community, not only young, middle-aged, older. What makes a community great? What makes it great is all of that coming together, people pulling together, working together to make it great. And we truly have a great community here in Douglasville and Douglas County. You see elected officials, both from the city and the county. You see staff. You see faith-based. You see people from different organizations. What are they doing? They're working together. They're pulling together. And that's what makes a community great. The Character Coalition breakfast this morning, we had the opportunity of listening to a fine young man who's a lieutenant colonel in the National Guard, and he talked about his exploits and the things that he went through with the military during the war in Iraq. But what he kept talking about is that unity, that pulling together, people working together for a common cause, common goals, common objectives. And he talked about different groups of guardsmen from different states with different processes and different objectives within their own communities. But when they came together and they pulled together with that common cause, that common objective, common goals, they worked together, they got the job done, and they accomplished their goals. That's what's going on in our community. You see your city and county governments working together. You see your faith-based churches. If we went around the room and asked for a show of hands or asked for the different denominations, many different denominations, many different faiths. But what are we doing? We're coming together to get the information to take back out to our communities. And we hear a lot about economic development and jobs and these types of things. But really what makes the community great is all of us working together, pulling together, and then people going, gosh, I'd like to live in that community. They've really got it going on. But what makes that happen? It's people like you and all the other people out here in our community working together, pulling together to make it great. And it truly is a great community. I want to thank each and every one of you for participating, for being here together. And again, like Ms. Hampton said earlier, tomorrow we're going to be hosting 600 second graders. I can't wait. Today, where are we? We're here in our Senior Citizen Center. Great facility, a lot of commitment to our seniors, commitment to tomorrow to our youth. Charles Branson talked about the homeless. That's another part of our community. They're in our community. Faith-based community has reached out tremendously, and we've accomplished some really great things to touch the homeless in our community. Had a young lady contact me last week, and she's launched out on a noble endeavor, and she's walking across America. She's already worn out 23 pairs of shoes, and I thought, wow. But what is she doing it for? She's doing it to increase and heighten the awareness of the homeless needs in our community. And she contacted through email and some phones, and sometimes you're a little cynical of what people may be doing and what their agenda is and why they're doing it. And we vetted her, checked her out. She'd been through LaGrange. I called, talked to the mayor down there, and he said, man, she got a great spirit. She's doing it for the right reasons. So we invited her into an event that we had, and she participated. And then we told her some of the things that our community, you as a faith-based group, had done to help the homeless and recognize that need in our community. And she went, wow, that's impressive. You don't see that in a lot of the communities that I'm reaching out to, that I talk to. and that I'm walking through across America. She said, I congratulate you. I said, no, don't congratulate me. I congratulate you. It's that community pulling together, working together, not only trying to attract jobs and economic development, the things that we think are going to help make our community grow, but we also, as a community, recognize the needs of those that are less fortunate in our community. That's what makes a community great. And y'all have a very important role and part in that. Because who touches more people in our community than anybody? Who touches more socio-economic groups than anybody in our community? Our faith-based partners. And here you are this morning, involved, committed, participating, and doing what? Not only to touch and reach your congregations and the different faiths that you represent, but to pull together and help make this a great community. I applaud you for being here this morning. Thank each and every one of you. Again, thank Ms. Johnson and what she's done. Thank our staff, and thank each and every one of you, because like I said, each and every one of you play an important part in what we're working together to accomplish, and that's to help make this one of the premier places in America to live, work, play, raise a family, and have a safe environment doing it. Thank you for being here. Ms. Hampton? Ms. Johnson. I've known Ms. Johnson for, well, I'm not going to tell you how long. She's a lot younger than I am.
Oh, shoot.
But she sits on the pew with me every Sunday at Central Baptist Church, sings in the choir, does a fine job, and then comes over here and represents all of us at the Senior Citizen Center. Like I said, I've known Ms. Johnson for several years. But,
20-something.
oh, no, you're not that old. Thank you. Appreciate it.
I want to welcome you to the Woodie Fite Center, and thank you, Harvey, for that. Thank you, Tom, for being here. As Tom said, I was going to retire last year, and he kind of talked me into a lot of things. He talked me into maybe stay until December, and then in December he talked me into this. So here I am. I am glad to be here. I am glad to be a part of Douglas Senior Services. We actually serve almost two populations, and sometimes they go in between. We here are supposed to be the fun center. But however, you will see in the information that you have there in front of you, the yellow copy, you'll see a lot of the activities that we have. We have a lot of support groups that you as pastors and people associated with the clergy need to know about. I think sometimes you have to do a lot of counseling, and sometimes you're at a loss. What am I going to do? What am I going to recommend? How am I going to help this individual? We have some things here that might help. We have an Alzheimer's support group, diabetes support group. We have something called Grief Share, and some of you probably know about Grief Share, some of you don't. Grief Share is a program that we have instituted here and is supported by First Baptist of Douglasville. And what it does is to help people who are going through the grieving process. All of us have been there at one point or the other. And whether it was last week that you lost a loved one or a friend, or 20 years ago, if you have not gone through that process, the Grief Share program is one I strongly support to help you out with. My father's 96 years old in South Carolina and just lost my second mother. Lost my first mother in 1986. He got married again and was married almost 25 years before we lost my second mother. I want to get him into Grief Share because he really is grieving right now. Also, I'm trying to find an Alzheimer's dementia thing for him up there in South Carolina. He won't come to Georgia. He says, no, says, you're working, I'm not going to come. But he is starting to show signs of dementia. I know, not only because of my age, but also because of my parents, my father, how important it is to have services, to have things for seniors to do. And like I said, we're considered the fun place here. The one Douglas Senior Services, though, up on Fairburn, they do so much good. And I can't say enough good things about them. Through Meals on Wheels, the transportation, I know the staff up there, they are absolutely wonderful. And they help, and I am so proud of Richard Hagan. He wanted to be here today, but he is now meeting, trying to get more money for us. So, but please take that information with you. It lists some of the things that we do, and there's also a May schedule for our next month's thing. Also remind you that on May the 16th, we will be having at Jesse Davis Park. This is it's sponsored by the city and by the county, our annual senior picnic. We have 500 slots. They're all filled. We have a waiting list now. This year, we had to say Douglas County residents only, because we have found out in the past, we are so popular over here, okay? We have folks from Carroll, Paulding, Cobb, several counties around. But this is for Douglas County seniors, and we were not allowing some of our Douglas County seniors to be there because we had so many other people. But in 3 short weeks, we have completely filled up those 500 slots. So we're very proud of that, and appreciate all the cooperation we have had from vendors and from different folks who have helped us out with that. Does anybody have any questions before we do the grand tour? All right, now, guys, I hadn't seen a pastor yet that didn't want to ask a question about something. Okay. All right, Harvey.
I remiss in saying this, but with all pastors here, we are going to take a collection on.
Of course we are. I know we got some Baptist preachers here, so we are. Okay, if you'll form over here, and I'll give you a quick tour of our facility here. We're extremely proud of this, extremely proud of the new building that we have, that we were able to build with a $500,000 grant given to us. So,
Sheriff, I do have one question.
okay.
I know we had the limit for our New Year's Eve party, before we had our additional 5,000 square feet. How many more people got done because of our addition?
We got to have an additional between 50 and 60 people because of that addition. Formerly, when New Year's Eve is the biggest thing that we do, I guess, here. I would open up these walls, and this is where it would be. We'd have a band and all kind of good things. But now that we have this room over here, which is 5,000 square feet, when you see it today, I've got the movable walls up, because what we do is we have several different activities going on at one time. But for a really big event, what we do is take down those walls, and we have plenty of room to do what we need to do. The center here is approaching 6,000 members. Now, if everybody showed up at one time, I don't know what I'd do. You know, I'd have to fill up both the buildings. But it goes to show you that there is a real need in our community for seniors to be able to exercise. We have a lot of different exercise classes here, to be able to socialize. We have a Bible study here, art classes, and you'll see some of that as we go through. It's very important. You know, back when I was a child, okay, families lived fairly close to each other and took care of each other. What we're finding here is a lot of seniors who don't have any family here. We are a very transit society at the moment. So we become their family. I have some members that are here every day of the week because they're lonely. But they know that they can come here, have some fun, maybe take some classes, do some things. If it's nothing more than to sit down and watch TV or read a good book. So this is really, really a good service for the seniors here in Douglas County. Oh, yes, ma'am.
I do have one question. I'm hearing that if all of your members would show up on the same day, that you will have a problem.
Oh, yeah.
Are there other plans for Douglas County to open another one of these type of facilities?
I'm sure we would hope to at some point. The thing about it is, it all gets down to finances, and we all know that in county, city government, no matter where you are right now, federal government, finance is a thing. It would be wonderful, and I think as Douglas County grows, in the next few years, that there will be an opportunity maybe. Maybe we can get some more grant money, we don't know. But we do have people from all over Douglas County that come here. We do have out-of-county members, because we're real popular. People that walk in this building say, wow, we didn't know we had this. Now, out-of-county people have to pay a premium in order to come here. Membership at Woodie Fite Center is free to any Douglas County resident, 55 years or older. But if they want out-of-county, they have to pay a little bit to get here. The classes also that they take, if they're out-of-county, they have to pay a little bit of a premium. And that's only fair because we are being supported by the taxpayers of Douglas County. But we have a lot of out-of-county people that come and say, our county doesn't have anything like this. You know, we want to join up with you. But hopefully in the future, at some point, we will be able to have other centers.
Part two of my question.
Okay.
So where do you recommend or suggest that people go to another place if they are not able to come here? What is the alternative to this?
The alternative to this, because we really only have the two, would be the one up on Fairburn Road, Douglas Senior Services. They provide a lot more care than we could. I have a long-term care background, and sometimes you almost have to do an assessment with something. I have me and 2 other staff people here. We could not function if we didn't have volunteers, some very good volunteers. However, we cannot do hands-on caregiving. We don't do transportation here. We don't do meals here. So it's a matter of where that individual fits. And sometimes I have to do an assessment. I never turn anybody away. But if somebody comes in that's maybe physically handicapped, I'll say, you know, you need a caregiver to come with you because I cannot help you. I cannot toilet people. I cannot help you in class. You know, you have to be able to pretty much function. It's 55 and over active thing. Also at Deer Lick Park, they have a very good, like the Special Olympics that'll be going on. And we do have some seniors that participate in some of that. Anyone else? Okay, let's head that way then. This is one of our cardio fit strength training classes. So, okay. As you can see, I have the movable walls here that we can take down when we have a big one. We use this for a lot of our card games. So, yep. Yeah. I don't let them play for money. I heard about this. If y'all want to peek in there, step in there. This is our exercise room, and our members can come in anytime that the center is open and come in and exercise. So if y'all would like to take a look at that. We always have info up on the board for you to look at, and this will give you some idea. After we get through with the tour, if y'all would like to come by, give you a little bit more detail. We have a theater club here, and they get tickets to the Fox, Atlanta Symphony. Beauty part about this is that since the county has given us a van, they don't have to worry about parking or driving into Atlanta. You know, we have people that will drive them down, say to the Fox, whatever. We also have a travel club. We have a travel agent who facilitates that, and they have some very, very, very nice trips that they go on. We have a lot of card games. We have the AARP here, the driver safety class, where you can take it and get money off on your insurance. And this shows a lot of our support groups here. We also have a computer lab I'll be showing you. We teach everything from computer basics to website building. That involves Facebook, which I am not on, okay? But very, very good instructor there. Have a lot of art classes, watercolor, oil, portrait. And we also have a choir here. And they go out and perform at various things, various functions. We teach piano and music theory. Have a lot of dance things, but seniors love to dance. Line dancing, ballroom dancing. We do Zumba. That's practice. And then all of this is exercise, strength training, cardio fit, yoga, several different types of yoga, Tai Chi. So seniors are busy. That's what everybody, and they need to get busy too. Our library over here, we do not have a checkout system. We just, everything is donated. All these books are donated. And what we'll do, there's a card in the front. They'll put on there the date they brought it back. If something has not been read in, say, 6 months, we'll pass it on to another organization that may be able to use it. So we believe in recycling. We always have a puzzle out. All the artwork that you see coming down through here was done by our students. So you can see we have some pretty talented folks. Now, this is our computer lab. And what is going, I'm going to let you peek in. What is going on in here is a photo sharing club. Okay. So as you can see, this is the faith-based group for the city and the county, and we're just showing them some of the things that we're able to do here. Okay, one question that I get asked a lot is, who is Woodie Fite? How many of y'all know who Woodie Fite was? Not many. Woodie Fite was not a man, y'all. It was a female. It was a woman, okay? Woodie Fite did a lot of things as far as seniors in Douglas County. She and her husband, Sarge, for many, many years. She would go out, pick up seniors, take them. She'd even go in and get them dressed sometimes, put them in her own van, take them over to Deer Lick, and have activities for them. So we were honored when it was decided that this facility would be named Woodie Fite. When you go back in, if you look there at the office thing, there's a picture of Woodie there. Woodie passed away about 6 years ago, and bless her heart, she had Alzheimer's at the end. However, one of the things that Woodie wanted before she got to where she couldn't really express her things was to have a garden dedicated to grandparents who had lost grandchildren. And all that work was donated. So that's what this is out here. You can see the metal tree and the little brass, the copper leaves on there. And those are the names and dates of grandchildren. It's beautiful out there. We have a lot of people that bring a sandwich and go out there and sit. There's a little waterfall. So all that, the landscaping, everything was dedicated. We are fortunate. We are blessed here at the center that we get a lot of donations. There are a lot of vendors, there are a lot of companies, there are a lot of people that want to support seniors. But we got to keep that in the forefront. I think a lot of people now are realizing, hey, I'm not that many years away from being a senior myself. So we encourage that, and like I say, we are very, very blessed. I am delighted that you were all here today. I hope if you're 55 and over, you can come and take advantage of what the center has to offer here. But more importantly, you need to know what we have and what Douglas Senior Services has up the road from us, so that when you're counseling people, you'll know where to send them. And we think that that's something that's very, very important.